Hey guys, it's Leah B from Prestige Veteran Medical Consulting. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, physician assistant, and former compensation and pension examiner. So welcome back to the channel. If you're a veteran working through your VA disability claim, you've probably heard the term Nexus letter before, more than a few times. But today we're answering a very specific and important question, and that is, are Nexus letters required for presumptive conditions? So let's break that down, okay? What are presumptive conditions? Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up VA.gov's handy sheet here so that you guys can reference it. Here we go. All right, so VA.gov's presumptive conditions. So I am on, let's see, VA.gov/disability/eligibility, okay? And so if we go down here, you can see there's a bunch of good information, but specifically I want to look at those presumptive conditions. So they're talking about most times when people talk about presumptive things, they're thinking about different exposure related presumptive conditions, like for those Vietnam veterans that were exposed to Agent Orange, or for those veterans with PACT Act related disabilities, either related to Agent Orange or perhaps Gulf War service or Camp Lejeune. There's different chemical contaminants, okay? So here you can see VA has a hyperlink that talks about chemical contaminants, and they reference Agent Orange, asbestos, mustard gas, Camp Lejeune, radiation exposure, Gulf War illnesses, Project 112, Gulf War illness, and there's just a ton, okay? So in each one of these hyperlinks, you can sort of see what are the current conditions that VA is, accepting as presumptive. Okay, so, I don't want to go through every single one of these, but I just want you guys, excuse me, to be aware of where you can go to find them. So VA.gov has all these presumptive ones are related to exposures to hazardous chemicals and materials. They also have long-lasting illnesses that appear within 1 year of discharge. We have another great video that I have done specifically on that in the past, because unfortunately, a lot of veterans think that you can be anything that comes up within 1 year is presumptively related to service. Well, that's not true. So let me give you a couple of examples of why that would not be true. But before I jump to that, there's this POW one, right? Also illnesses caused by your time spent as a POW. Okay, so let me jump off the screen share. Okay, so presumptive within 1 year, it makes sense, right? So it has to be something that reasonably would have occurred while you were on active duty, right? We can't just say like, maybe you got out last month and you broke your leg today. Well, yes, you broke your leg within 1 year, but that has nothing to do with your service, right? Because let's say you broke your leg in a car accident, or you broke your leg falling down the stairs, right? So not every single condition that happens within 1 year is related to service. So again, I know that's a really crazy one to bring up, but it goes that way for all of them. So there's a specific list that they believe. One example is arthritis. So if you've got arthritis and you get diagnosed with that like a month after service, it's pretty reasonable to assume that arthritis didn't just grow over the past month. That arthritis has been there for, quite some time. At least within a year. Okay. So those are sort of some of those presumptive, items that we're going to talk about today. So again, a presumptive condition is a medical condition that the VA automatically presumes is service connected based on your military service history without you needing to prove that direct link. Some of those common examples, like we mentioned, include Agent Orange related conditions for Vietnam veterans, Gulf War illnesses, certain cancers from Camp Lejeune, and even conditions linked to burn pits for those post 9/11 veterans. This isn't all encompassing, okay? So in these cases, VA has already accepted that if you served in a specific place during a specific time and you have a certain diagnosis, they're going to presume that it was caused by your service. So here's the question, right? Do you still need a Nexus letter for a presumptive condition? So the answer is usually probably not. If your condition meets the VA's criteria for a presumptive condition, you typically do not need a Nexus letter because the nexus or connection between your condition and your service is already assumed, right? That said, there might be some exceptions. Okay, there might be some exceptions. So here is when a Nexus letter might still be helpful for a presumptive condition. Maybe you don't meet all of the criteria. Maybe your service location or time frame is borderline or unclear. Maybe you fall right outside of that time frame. VA denies your claim anyways. Maybe it just happens. A strong letter might help support your appeal. You're filing secondary conditions. If the presumptive condition caused something else like depression or sleep apnea, you may benefit from a letter for that secondary condition that's caused. Okay, so that's not exactly presumptive, but if there's conflicting evidence in your file, a medical opinion can help clear that up, right? So the bottom line, for most clearly defined presumptive claims, a Nexus letter is not required. A Nexus letter is never required, but it may not be beneficial. But in some cases, it can be the difference between approval or denial, especially if your case is complicated or if you're on appeal. So some of those key takeaways, again, Nexus letters are not typically required or even beneficial for presumptive conditions. You might still need one if there are complications or secondary claims. When in doubt, talk to an experienced VA accredited representative, like a claims agent, a VSO, an accredited attorney. They should be able to give you feedback on your case specifically. So if you have questions on whether or not you would benefit from one, again, talk to your treating provider. They may be willing to, support your case and write a letter for you at little to no cost. Your VA provider, again, they're never required, but they can sometimes be helpful. You may want to talk to that accredited claims agent. VA.gov has a list of accredited representatives that you can search and verify their authenticity by the Office of General Counsel. Are they accredited to help you? Okay, that's always really important, that whoever is helping you with your claim, file your claim, appeal your claim, is accredited by those standards to help you do that. I am just a medical professional. I work with a lot of accredited claims agents, VSOs, and attorneys that represent claimants, and I help with those Nexus letters. Again, you don't have to go to a service like mine. You can always get one. Just a few sentences even in your medical record may be helpful. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Please drop some comments. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let me know if there's anything else you guys are looking forward to hearing about. All right, talk to you guys soon.